In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create a paper tube inside of Blender. We'll go through modeling, material creation, and lighting. All right, let's jump in. So what I'm going to do first is just create a new scene that I can work from. And I've just split this into 3 views here. For now, what I can do is just actually close these 2 views. You can just do that in the corner there. So I'm just going to use the tilde to go to front view. I'll just quickly turn on the screencast keys so that you can see what shortcuts I'm using. And let's begin. So what I'm going to do is go to the front view here. And we'll go Shift A, and then I'll go down to Image and Reference here. And then I'm just going to look for my reference image, which is just the original here. I could actually put in the exact one we modeled here. Could put that one in as a reference image. You're going to come over here to the data properties here, and we can come down to the opacity, change that to like 0.5. I'll change the depth to front, which means that it won't show the back, or it shouldn't show the back of this. What that means is it'll always show in front of all the objects, sorry. And then what I can do here is uncheck the perspective. That means as soon as I rotate, that disappears, the reference. So I'm just going to stay in front view, and I'll just bring this up here. And what I want to do here is just go Shift A. We'll actually rename this to reference, or ref for reference. We'll put it in a new collection. If you're interested in learning Blender for product visualization a lot faster and save time searching for the right tips and tricks in YouTube videos, then consider my course Master Product Visualization. It'll teach you everything you need to know, from basics of box packaging to wine and whiskey renders, and all my tricks in lighting and modeling, and also product animation. Look at Aaron, a packaging designer who went from zero Blender knowledge to now presenting photorealistic packaging designs to his clients within just a few weeks. And this gave him a massive boost to his business. So if you want to save time at learning Blender and get the results quicker, then click the link below to learn more. And then I'll create a new collection here. You can just press C for new collection, double click for rename, and then I'll just call this mod for models, and just go Shift A. We'll put in a mesh circle, change it before you click anything to 24. And now I can scale this down in edit mode here. And I can just start to edit this out. So I'm going to scale this bottom piece all the way up to just below the top here, because the top is going to sit on this. And then what I'll do is come down the base here. What I can just do is fill it, go inset a little bit, and we're just doing that bottom edge inset like so. With this shape selected, I'm just going to press 3 to face select, press P for separation, and now I've separated these 2 bits. And this bit here, I can just scale it up a little bit. Now what I need to do is right click, shade this smooth, and also add a subdivision modifier. We can come over here to subdivision surface, bump that up to 2, and now we need to add in geometry here. We'll add in a heap vertically, so Control R, you can use your scroll wheel to add geometry. And then we can just go ahead and bring an edge loop down here, another edge loop down here, like so. And now what I'm ready to do is actually begin modeling this, or modeling a unique detail in this. So what I'm going to do is, when you're doing a paper tube, it has a little seam on one end, which is where that little paper overlaps and where it's glued. So we're going to model that in so it's more realistic. So what I'm going to do is get rid of this base circle and I just want to isolate the current shape. So just hit slash on your keyboard, and now I can only see my current model. And what I want to do here is we might see if we can turn on some settings here, which might help us. Cavity will show us the edges a little bit more. I'm just having trouble seeing that edge there. So we can change views here. Can change it here to the white one maybe. You can see that edge is real clear now. So we'll change it to this first option where that edge is real clear. And so what I want to do is where this y-axis is, we want to grab that, and I need to think about this. So what I want to do is maybe have this edge. Let's think. So we want this bit to overlap and go to there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to alt click that edge using edge select. I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate that. So I've just got these faces. I'm going to right click to paste it in the same place that I duplicated. Now I have to remember that there's a duplicate here, so this could be a little bit complicated. I'm going to press H to hide what I just did. And then what I'm going to do here is let's go ahead and rip this. So let's select this edge loop using Alt click. We can rip it using V. That will rip that edge so that it's disconnected. And then what I can do is 2 for edge select. Let's go 3 for face select, then select a few of these loops. And what I actually need to do here, I need to hide that, but I need to bring back the other one. So let's go, maybe what we do is we'll just edge select this edge, click here on this side so that you can move that. And I'm just going to go GG and move it ever so slightly this way so we've got a gap. And I'm moving it the way of the edge that we duplicated so that when we go Alt H and bring this shape back, you can see now I've got these 2 edges here and I can select them. So Alt click this one, Alt click, and then just hover over the other side, Alt click. And that's selecting our full loop here. You don't want to do, we need to just merge these two, which what we could do now is just go A, select all, M, merge by distance, and that will merge those 2 points. And what you can see now is happening is see that the subdivision surface is actually affecting this. So this edge, we're just going to move it on the Y, just hold down Shift, move it on the Y, bring him back in. And then I'm going to grab, if we can get it, this loop here, this one here. And what I'm going to do is just go Alt S, holding Shift. Now that's connected those back up. Not what I want. So let's undo to where we did the merge. And instead, let's solve this a different way. So we've got this separate edge here. It's not connected. Let's Alt 3 face select this edge. Then we'll go Control plus on our number pad to expand the selection. Now I can go H, A, select all, M, merge by distance. That'll merge that one. Then we can go Alt H and that will bring that back. And now we can move this edge just on the Y, just move it in a little bit. I'm just doing it so that it's not quite overlapping here. We've got two edges here that we need to sort of line up with each other. Because the subdivision surface can't calculate it because we're not continuing that circle. So now what I want to do is free face select these two and do that what I said before. So the Alt S is extrude along normals. So it'll just extrude it a little bit. We'll just go a tad like so. So we get this edge. We need to get this inside of our model here. This edge here. Let's go to wireframe. And what I could actually do is just go Alt S on this one and extrude it down. Let's go in here so that it shrinks off. Alright, so now I want to add a solidify modifier. And we'll go negative on the offset, positive in this case. We'll go even thickness. Now I've got this. Now it's happening. Let's put it after the subdivision. And now what I can do is go Control R and add in a loop right at that edge there. Like so. And now we've got this edge. And I just want to decrease this thickness a little bit more. Like so. We could put this before maybe. Put it before the subdivision. Makes it a little bit cleaner. Then we've got this top edge here. I'm just going to go Control R. Add the loop in like so. Let's keep moving it up. Let's increase that thickness back to the original value, 0.1. Very thick though, 0.05. Something like that looks quite good. So we've got that base. If I just hit slash, that'll bring it all back. And what I can do is actually reuse this for the top. Although what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a different top. So what I'll do instead is we'll go front. Now there's a second cylinder in there that I could actually use. So let's go Shift D, right click, tab into edit mode. We're just going to bring this up. We'll hide our reference for, no, we need it. We'll scale this. We just want it just outside of our existing lines here. You can see here we've got the original wireframe here. We just want it just outside. And then what I'm going to do is E to extrude it straight up to the top here. And now what I want to do is hide that reference and start working with this. So I want to get rid of that bottom face. We want to go Alt S, scale it up a bit so there's that overlap. And this is where we start working on that edge there. Let's get rid of that face. So what I'm going to do at the top is the same. So F, insert it. I'm going to insert it more than the bottom. I'm going to go E to extrude. I'm just going to extrude it. And what I'm looking for is extruding it roughly the same length so that it sort of looks like a square. And then what I'm going to do is grab this face here. We're going to P to separate it, get it out of here. We can tab into object mode, select this shape back into edit mode. We're going to grab this edge here. We're going to go Shift D. No, let's undo that. Delete vertices. what we'll do is E to extrude, right click, and then we'll scale this so that it goes in. So we have this lip. And so what will happen now is when I go subdivide, so I can do Control 2 for 2 subdivisions. And then I'll add in some mesh here with an edge loop. I'll just bring this up to the top here. And we'll just right click shade this smooth. You can see now, if I bring this down, add, we've got this rotated edge at the top. So what I'm going to do now is just scale this plate here up a little bit. And I'm going to give it some room, so I'm just going to push it down a little bit. And we've got to do our loop again. So we'll just go to the back here. We'll select this. Let's alt click this loop here. We'll shift D to duplicate like we did before. Right click. Then what we're going to do is actually hide this H. And we'll do the same. So we'll rip it. V to rip this edge. Then Alt H to bring that other edge back. We'll go 3, select this face, and go Control plus to select under that. Then we'll go H to hide that, A, select all, M, merge by distance. That'll merge that duplicate back into that edge. Then Alt H will reveal that again. And then we can start working with this. So let's grab this and this. And what we'll do is go Alt S, scale these up a little bit. Then we'll add in our solidify modifier. Like so, we'll drop that on top and we'll edit this in a second. Let's add in, well, let's start editing it now actually. I just want to start moving this so that it fits in. So what I did before was actually scaled this. Alt click this. We'll go Alt S and scale that one down. We could do the same with this one, Alt S. We'll just move it across a little bit. We want it to fit all in there. That's when we can add that edge loop in there. Like so. And then we'll go down here and add in an edge loop down there to sharpen that edge off. And now what we can do is go splash. Now we have this top here. Now you could really dial it in and not go as much as I have. 0.5. You could actually, like, when you're grabbing these, that's quite a big change. So we could go Alt S, scale that down. So I need to grab a bit more. Grab that. So Alt S, scale that down. Even more, like you could just have it subtle because paper is quite thin, and then you could just edit this as you want. So you could grab these two, move them up a little bit, grab the inside two, G, Y, Y, or we could just move it like this, top view. You just move it ever so slightly. And then you've got that edge. It's really thin down there. And we put it on both. And what you'd do for realism here would actually be just rotate this on the Z-axis so that these don't quite line up. But what I'm going to do is actually UV unwrap these. Alright, so to UV unwrap these, I'm just going to do these two. And so let's go to the UV section here. You'll need UV toolkit. I use it a fair bit. So just go to the extensions, type UV toolkit and grab it here, then add it in the add-ons. It's completely free and easy to use. So then what I'm going to do is go through both of these. So I'm going to do the bottom first. And all I'm going to do is add a seam on the bottom. mark seam, U mark seam. We're going to mark a seam up in there, U mark seam. Then I'm going to grab this edge here that we looped around, and we'll mark a seam on that one. We'll hit slash, we'll mark a seam around the top here, U mark seam, A, U, and then we can unwrap this by angle based. And we're only really looking for, if I select this, we're only really looking for this guy here. And so in a second, we'll start arranging that one into position. There's a few bits here. That's its own, so that's all right. Hit slash, we'll go to our top here. Then we'll mark the seam here, U mark seam. We'll go to the back here. We want to grab that outer edge loop. Check that it actually is it. Well, there's two loops here you could actually mark the seam of. Anyway, that's fine because it's not connected. We don't really need to select it. U mark seam. Mark those two seams, which they're fine being rolled in, I think. So if I just try this angle based, yeah, so then I can select this, go N, and then up here I think it's straighten UVs. Then we've straightened that UV. Hit N. So now we can jump to shading. And so what I like to do is, let's go to layout. This is where we just pull up a shading view halfway through here, hover to where the crosshair is. We can just click this, press S, it'll automatically go to shading view. Pop this into rendered view here. I'm going to turn the world off. I'm using cycles. Let's go to cycles, GPU, and that will give us good rendering. And I'm pretty happy. Let's not go to the length of samples. 0.01 noise threshold and denoise it. Let's add a new material and we'll just call this paper tube design. And this is where we just need to go search for our image texture. So we'll go image texture here, plug you in, open, and this is where we go find our assets, design, working files. I've got the image texture here. By default, it's just going to use the UV map. So let's go Control T to just confirm that really. Hit N. Now what I can do is go to UV editing, and you can see I can see the texture on top of my design here. So what I want to do here is actually bring, open up this view here. You're going to turn on the texture under viewport shading. That will show textures on this. Then what I want to do is jump back to my layout here, and I want to apply that paper tube to that base there so that it's applied to both. We'll go back to UV editing now. I'm going to grab both of these shapes, tab into edit mode, and if I press A, I've got all the UVs in one. Then I'm just going to go front view here. I'm just going to scroll across, hide the viewport overlays for now, which is just this one here, which will hide all that mesh because I need to be in edit mode. Then what I'm going to do is start rearranging this so that it only shows where it needs to show. So what I can do is if I just hover over an island, which this is called a UV island, each separate one is an island. What I'm going to do is hover over it, just go L to select it, and then I can move that around here. And so what I want to do right now is rotate this by 90, upside down. So let's rotate this again by 180. Now it's the right way. We want to bring up our design under it. So we can just bring up a design here. I can press N to pull this guy out. he can say fit to bounds. That will bring us, put it into the right area for us. Just going to go G, Y, and bring it up like so. And you'll see here that that texture is actually repeating. So I'm just going to bring it up like this. And I'm just going to position it where I want the label to be. So there. And we have to move it across slightly because we extended that end. So we have to get it in the center. That's pretty good. Now we've got the issue where that's not repeating. So you can go back to your layout here. And under the repeating image here, if we have a look at the top, where that pink is, that pink line, you can actually say change it from repeat to extend. And it'll extend the top pixels. So whatever color that top pixel is, it'll just extend it into infinity. Probably not infinity, but for a while. Let's go to front view here. Then I'm going to select that bottom one. So I'll go L. Now this is, if we have a look at this one is the wrong way around. It's actually inverted it. So what we can do is rotate this. Actually, it will scale it on the X axis and we'll type in 1 and then negative, and that will flip it. Then what I'll do is, that's pretty good size. So I'll just enter this, and I actually might scale this up. So let's scale this one to bounds, fit to bounds, this option here. That's pretty good there. We just got to center this like that. Now I've also noticed that the label here is showing up. So what I can just do is just grab these two by going alt click, and cause it's relatively the same color, if I just shift this up a little bit, no one will notice. Have a look at this base. I've got that issue there, which this is because what is happening is there's some more mesh here. So let's have a look at these two. And what I can do now is turn on the overlays. Because these islands, if I can select this island, let's go L, hover in it. Because this island is here, if I scale this down, I'm going to bring it to where the color is. So the front color is about here, so it's under here. Or you can just scale this island down, bring it all the way to the bottom here, and you'll notice that it starts to match that color. So we can just go G, just bring it down to here, sit it where it's meant to be. It'll match it. Let's deselect that, press L, A, select this, rotate by 90, and I'm just going to sit that along the bottom as well. We'll have a look. And then I've got a little piece here. I've got little strips and bits and pieces everywhere. So depends how detailed you're going to go, but there is a bit here that isn't working, which that could just be loops. Let's add a loop in. It is a bit funny, isn't it? That's because of that. Which I'm not going to be able to fix that, am I? Unless I select these. A, select all, scale them down, put them in the white. Which that's actually a mistake. I should have put the edge loop on the edge. In fact, you don't even need an edge loop there because it ends anyway. So that's good to go. So that's your texturing. You could also match this to the top, which all I would do is just go make a new material, call this top, make this eyedropper and eyedropper the color close to it. And you could actually get a bit better. And if you wanted to, you could do even better by going to your Illustrator file and actually matching it. There you go. Now what I want to do is add in a paper texture. So let's go ahead, add a little bit of texture in here. And we're going to do that through bump map. So let's add bump. Which I could actually do a normal map maybe. I think I've got normals for this. So let's go normal map. And then we'll find this. So I've just got a paper texture. Plug that in. Like so. Strength 0.1. 0.2 maybe. Can't see it too well because the denoise is kicking in. 0.1. And then I've also got, you can mix colors into this as well. So you could come in here and add a multiply. Add a, what is it? A mix RGB, mix color. You can mix these two together. Now I do multiply. It'll multiply the black and white values. That'll add a little bit of paper texture to this. Let's increase the render samples. And then you can add a roughness as well. So let's just bring in a roughness here. Just plug that in. Like so. Then I'm going to grab these two. Control C, go to this top, paste it here. I need that here. And normal. We might just actually unwrap this. Just go UV unwrap. And then come to the bottom here. UV unwrap. Then add the top here. Duplicate it and change color. So we'll change it back to this light color. So it's the same. So there you have it. So let's bring this down, open in a new window here. And what we want to do now is I'm going to turn off the world here so I can just control all my lighting myself. Let's add in a plane here, tab, scale this one up. And then we'll scale across. I'm doing all this in edit mode. Grab this edge, EZ, go like this. Then we're just going to grab that edge here. We're going to create a cyclorama here. So Control B to bevel, and then use your scroll wheel to add a heap of bevels here. Then we'll right click and shade this one smooth. Shift A. Then we'll add in a camera here. That'll be down here. Alt R will reset that rotation so that I can rotate it by 90 and just bring that up. Then look through the camera here. Bring that back. We're going to change this to about 85 mil on the camera. We'll go Shift A, we'll add in a light, an area light. Now I'm going to add in a gobo texture. And I've got Light Wrangler, which is a paid add-on on the Blender market. which that's changed. I can't remember what it's called now. But you can also build your own. So if I click this over to Gobo and have a look in here, pretty much all this is, well, this doesn't look very simple. But you can add a Gobo just by going, you'd have an emission here. And then you would add your texture in, your Gobo into here. Like so. And then you'd plug that into the surface. And then you'd change your spread way down to like 1 degree or what we have here. Let's increase this to like 500. It'll make it nice and bright. Scale it up a little bit. We're going to rotate it like this. And we'll do the similar lighting as we had before. And we want to rotate this further. Bring it down, rotate it even more. Scale it. And what I'm going to do, just sort of position this. Let's position it over here actually. I'm going to bring it back. I need to frame this in my camera. So I'm just going to pull this just above the line here. We'll just go GZZ. Scale. Rotate this. Bring it like that. Let's go Control B. I'm going to have a look at my color options here. I want to change this to Chronos PBR neutral and then medium contrast here. Then we can render this out. There you have it. So that's just how to create a paper tube inside of Blender. I would spend a lot more time and effort on paper textures, getting this background really nice, getting some more texture into the background. I'd also get some imperfections into this label by mixing some roughness, mixing some bump, doing all that good stuff into it as well. So I'd love to see what you create. So make sure to jump in the Discord. And also, if you have any other ideas for videos, then jump down below and leave a comment and have a look around my channel if you would like to learn anything else.